Have you heard of the new addition to the Go for Donny podcast? I haven't either, but it's called Switch to Channel 2. That is where Donny will get to ask his guests some questions, so you, the listener, get to know them better. And remember, hashtag HTFU.
All right, guys, welcome back to Switch to Channel 2. We have Tim Duffy here. Tim, how you doing, buddy?
I'm rocking along, my friend.
I
Love
love
Channel
it.
2. Excited. Don't know what's going to happen on Channel 2, but I'm very excited.
Oh, anything can happen on Channel 2. Just so I can explain it one more time for any listeners that are new. Channel 2 is a little podcast I came up with because on set, whenever we needed to talk to someone, we'd always switch from our channel over to Channel 2. We'd have our chatter. Everyone else would switch to Channel 2, and they would listen in, and then we would go back to our respected channels. So that's where we came up with Channel 2, because I can't chatter and talk at the same time. So we got some chatter here. So I got a question for you. Let's get started. What got you into the industry? What got you started into this?
My twin brother moved to Los Angeles 26 years ago to do stand-up comedy. My twin brother, Mike. I was working with autistic kids at the time as a behavioral therapist and was severely in debt because of college and education stuff, and looked at the world as a 23-year-old or whatever and went, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't afford to go back to school. I can't afford to pay my bills working in that line of work. And so I went out to visit my brother, who was living with some of my friends from our friends from high school. And I was like, peace out. I'm moving. I'm going to try this out. And then I got to LA and I got a job at a publicist agency and then was fired 2 weeks later. Happy to tell you that story.
All right.
Yeah. So then once I got fired, then I got into the industry because I needed more work and I got a PA job. Yeah.
That's so awesome. So you moved out because your brother moved out to be a stand-up comedian. I love that. That's why he moved to LA. And then you said, "Hey, bro, I'm coming with." That's such a great. I mean, good on. We're so blessed that happened. You know, I'm so glad that Mike wanted to be a stand-up comedian. So, we got the Duffys out here.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Fucking awesome, man. So the way that we know each other, so when we can catch up, everyone is, I worked at MTV in MTV2 development years ago at MTV Networks, and at MTV Networks we had all these different networks that were there, like Spike TV, where Tim was the SVP of development. We had VH1, Comedy Central, a bunch of other ones. So everyone was really close back then. Everyone knew each other. It was really cool. Like we had holiday parties together. I don't know. Everyone just knew each other. It was crazy cool. And then fast forward, I left and went into production, went on my way, and oddly enough, followed your brother to I think 2 or 3 companies where he was, which is funny. Never followed you anywhere. But then you guys started your own company, and then you guys just took off until you are today, where you're this amazing spiritual guru. So,
can you? About that, but...
Oh man, can you just catch us up from I think from Spike to starting Ugly Brother, and then to where you are today?
Well, I was pretty successful at Spike TV, and a big reason for my success was I got really good at telling stories, and was a good a solid creative leader, that was frustrated that I wasn't actually able to physically execute the creative when I was a network executive. I wanted to actually make the stuff I had started before my network days in production after I got fired from that first publicist agent's job. But I wanted to come back and get into the field and figure out how to direct. And so 2013, I left Spike TV with a 3-project deal, and that helped launch my production company called Ugly Brother Studios with my twin brother, Mike.
So awesome.
And what quickly happened there was I jumped in head first to creating content that I wanted to watch, which ended up being food, travel, and comedy related stuff. So that's the kind of road to Ugly Brother Studios, at least.
Does it make a difference when you're making something that you're vested in? I say vested, more vested in something that you're interested in and actually vested in, instead of just being an exec on a show and having to take it on to produce it. You might not be particularly interested in it or the subject, but you have to do it. To where, and plus being your own boss too, is like, there's something to be said about not having to answer to many people.
I look that's such a beautiful question to ask. So, to pursue subject matter that was interesting to me was the most important aspect of transitioning from Spike TV to Ugly Brother Studios. I was not interested in the stuff I was making at Spike TV. I had to pretend like I was like a bro.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of assume the kind of perspective of what the bros want. And I was never really interested in the bro-y thing. I was more interested in like insightful stories that, informed instead of kind of like, showed up in the world as destructive. Which was a lot of reality TV back then. It was like trashy, awful.
The trashier, the better. Yeah.
Exactly. And that just wasn't really in my heart. So the biggest thing for me was, can I put stories out into the world that make this world happier, smarter, stronger together, And with a background in working in restaurants for years, and then our older brother, Brian, being a fantastic chef, Mike and I just like leaned into the food stuff. And that's eventually, that plus the comedy is what we became known for. We were nominated for 9 Emmys, won 2, nominated for 5 James Beard Awards.
That's so
Worked
cool.
with the best
That's so
chefs
rad.
on earth.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
It's great accolades, especially from your peers, when they recognize, how good you really are at your craft. So, and you guys really are good at what you guys do, So that's why transitioning into what you're doing now. I mean, you're just the best at whatever you do. I think I was talking about, maybe I may have been talking to your brother about that, about taking on any task, any job I did. I always wanted to do it to the best of my ability, and you don't find that a lot with a lot of people. They don't have that drive. I mean, it can be the simplest task. You always wanted to do it to your best of the ability. And I don't know if that was distilled in me. Maybe that was a military thing that I picked up along the way. But you don't see that a lot. So it's cool to see how well you guys do in your craft, and how how good you are. And I'm sure you're just as good as a guru. I keep saying guru. I shouldn't say that.
Say guru. Yeah, I mean, so should we tell people what I do now?
Yes, I think we should transition into that.
So, and will people have heard the other podcast, or is this like a fresh start for us?
No, so this is I took this, I can leave this in or cut it out. ESPN FC is a soccer specific show on ESPN, and they have their show is like about an hour, and it's just sit down, they talk about soccer, and then they have another show after that they have for ESPN Plus customers called Extra Time. And that's where they just ask some stupid questions, from Twitter or X or whatever. So that's kind of where I got the idea for this, is more of a follow-up to that, because I always wanted to go for Donny just to be about just stupid stories or fun, not more about you or me, just some fun,
Yeah, cool.
Nothing in it. And then that way, switch to channel 2, we could follow it up with more, just more things about you, more things about maybe what you're doing, what you're up to. Maybe you have more to say. Maybe you have something else other than some dumb questions you want to answer, So it's just about anything, some chatter. So
we can pick the thread up as if the audience already knows, kind of.
Sure. Yep.
We planted seeds. So
I think so.
So I have been teaching corporate meditation since 2010, and teaching folks outside of corporate settings how to use meditation and mindfulness to improve their lives and to improve their relationships to stress and anxiety and the difficulties of life, right?
That's a, can
Um,
I ask real quick? How you started in 2010? How
well,
did
I
you
started teaching in
in
2010.
2010? How did you find this? Just, I mean, if you can, I don't know if it's maybe it's not a quick story, but how did you? Were you a kid? Did you realize that you had this ability and this spirituality that you wanted to explore more?
I remember literally being in second grade and hearing from my religion teacher. I went to Catholic school, and this nun, he was talking about um, how in the Buddhist religion, they take the position that enlightenment, that heaven is now, and it's here, and it's already available. And I remember being in second grade and going, well, then why the hell do I need to do this Catholic thing and wait to die and hope, fingers crossed, that I can somehow, you know, have heaven? If heaven is now, so it's stuck in the
Wow,
back of my head,
wow,
and didn't kind of as a seed of interest, and didn't mature until I was blessed to go to a very liberal, expensive, which is the debt part of my early life, college called Goucher College in Baltimore, Maryland. I was a psychology major, and I took a class called New Directions in Psychotherapy. And every week, this Gandalf looking motherfucker, uh, old white dude, hippie, taught a new kind of meditation. And I
hmm,
was like, this is cool, man. Like, I can kind of just stop and do nothing and just watch, or I can watch my breath, or I can cultivate imagery inside my body and mind. I can start to understand how my mind is working. And I got a brief taste of that thing from second grade that was like, oh, heaven on earth, heaven right now. And then I went off and started, finished my college career, worked with kids for a little bit, and then got into entertainment. In the background, I would meditate, but not really. I wasn't ever really officially trained. But I knew that when I did meditate, I felt better in some form or fashion. So cut to like 6 years later, my whole life just felt like I was white knuckling through everything. And I tried everything else and nothing worked. And I was like, what about that meditation thing? So I started researching teachers, and I found a teacher named Vincent Horn online. Early days of
wow,
podcasting and online is how I found him. And within several months of a committed practice, my whole entire internal world shifted.
wow.
And I really was able to kind of recognize the power of meditation as a vehicle for recognizing that this life right here is absolutely gorgeous, and it's always and already uh, calling us to see it as heaven, as the beauty that we are pushing off, that we can realize it right now, right here.
Wow. Wow, that's beautiful. That's amazing that you found that. That's so cool.
Yeah,
Well,
thank
thank
you.
you for
Yeah,
sharing that. So and
you're
then,
welcome.
wow. And so now this is what you're doing. Didn't you? You just announced something else.
It's
Where are my notes?
it's Laughterworks with
Yes,
an
thank you.
X.com. So Laughterworks with an X.com is where you can find the work that I'm doing now. So I'm launching my fourth startup. We are scaling
Wait,
wellness
wait,
through the
wait.
power.
Hold on, hold on. Fourth. I sorry, Tim. Fourth. Right? Can you just go through the other three real quick so that way everyone knows how brilliant you really are?
So Ugly Brother Studios, the production company, was the first business that we
Uh-huh.
launched. And then Mike and I um, launched but never got off the ground a startup in the VR space in the late 2000 teens. In 2020-ish, Mike and I launched a, a kind of food media SaaS business, shoppability as a service, a digital food media company that gave our audience the ability to eat what they see. So Mike is still running that, and that's going great. Um, for me, as we talked about in the former version of this podcast on Channel One. Um, the TV stuff and the food media stuff, for me, it just wasn't fulfilling. It just wasn't where I wanted to be in the world as I watched all this suffering. And so I left those businesses and started teaching full time
Wow.
in corporate world and in pro bono work to help folks ease their suffering. And then about 7 months ago, one of the world's best comedians, a guy named Craig Shoemaker, former comedian of the year, former top 100 comedian according to IMDb,
Ooh.
came out of the woodwork and he's like, dude, I see you doing all this mindfulness based executive coaching and this corporate work. I have a business called Laughter Heals, which was a nonprofit that I want to turn into a for-profit model, and I want you to help me launch it. And I'm like, no, I'm not interested. I'm doing my thing. I'm crushing it out in the world. And then I looked under the hood and I saw this beautiful modality of humor and laughter as a way to cut through and get people to come back to that beautiful presence that is always and already here, that sense of heaven on earth quality that is dosable. And I started to ask the question, can I scale this? And then AI clicked in. And so where we are right now is we have these beautiful corporate programs where we teach folks in corporate settings how to show up in creative ways for themselves in the world while reducing stress and increasing engagement on the job and happiness on the job, using laughter and when you pair laughter with mindfulness, you're quite literally rewiring the brain towards joy. And so the next phase of our development is AI integration and scaling so that we don't have to limit ourselves to being in person all the time. We can start to use tech as a way to help folks dose themselves with their own humor all day long, every day.
That's awesome. That's smart.
Yeah.
Wow. Wicked.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
I love that. I love to laugh. That's one thing I
me
love to
too.
do is love to laugh. Laughter heals all. Just like Patch Adams. Good old Patch Adams, that movie with Robin Williams. I don't know if you remember that.
Of course, yeah.
I referenced that because of the theme of it and what he was trying to accomplish with laughter. And two, I was also an extra in that movie. That was the first thing I was in.
Oh, cool. That's cool. Nice.
Yeah, I played a butcher in the butchers convention, and we all had to act like we were drunk. And it was, it was a film set. It was long as hell, so we kept going across the street to the real bar and getting drinks, and so we were really drunk. So.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy.
Those were the days. Well, that's really cool, man. I mean, not hardly anyone. I wonder what the percentage is. I should just have chat, just listen in and giving me the answers in real time of people that even try, and fail, let alone try and succeed at just about everything that they do. So good on you. I mean, not everyone has the balls, blatantly have the balls to even do it. To everyone. I guess that goes back to what I always say is everyone can have a great idea. Everyone has ideas. It's just how are you going to execute that idea? Or are you going to execute that idea? Or is it just going to stay an idea?
That's the thing. I mean, that's what, as producers, and I think a lot of your audience are producers, we show up in the world and we make shit happen. Like if we put unscripted producers in charge of the American government, I think we could actually be a hell of a lot more effective than Doge. I think we could figure anything out. That's what's amazing about the power of unscripted producers who encounter the world and figure out how to organize it in such a way that there's a quality of efficiency and focus and clarity of story. But also because we're storytellers, there's a balance of heart and information that's also being delivered. Imagine deploying those skills if producers in our industry started really thinking of themselves as viable problem solvers in the world in general, not limited by the entertainment industry.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think that we'd have a lot more flexibility, that our colleagues from the entertainment industry would recognize that there's a lot more flexibility to their skills than they think. They just need to break free from the entanglement of the traditional entertainment industry, right? So let's solve the world's problems. Let's deploy all of our unscripted producers to solve the world's problems. But it starts with those producers recognizing that they have that superpower within themselves and gaining the confidence out there in the world to just go out and get no a lot. Hear no. You're going to hear no a lot.
Yeah.
Every no gets you one step closer to yes, right? And so as an entrepreneur, this is a really important thing. When you stack no's up, that's progress. That's progress towards yes. So I just want to kind of encourage your audience and our audience right now to see that as an fertile ground. Your own growth is based on you getting to know. That means you're moving and you're not stopping. Get to know, get to know, get to know.
I like that. Moving. What we say in the infantry, keep moving forward. Never step back. Always move forward. So that, gosh, it kind of, you talked a little bit about it. I was going to ask you about the industry and what you think of it bouncing back, or how do you think it's going to come back? I think, I asked your brother this too, and he gave me the right answer. And I don't know if I'm looking for validation about YouTube, but that's at least what I see. It all going, to social media and YouTube.
When we disentangle ourselves from the distribution system, we remember that since the dawn of humanity, we've been telling stories around the campfire and cave drawings. This is our unique skill as a species to be able to tell stories. Stories are not going away. The vehicle for delivery is changing, and it will continue to change. Our job is to recognize our internal, inherent human superpower as storytellers, and figure out how to monetize that, how to distribute it. Content is king, but distribution is King Kong.
Yeah.
Right. So these are all just different delivery systems, different distribution models. So I think YouTube is by far the most powerful distribution model available on planet Earth right now. And I think it's a hell of a lot more democratic than the TV industry ever was. But it takes time and effort. So if I was advising, I am advising a lot of folks in this space right now, start now. The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time to start is today. And do not expect an ROI for at least a year. For at least a year. That's what's scary for everybody to consider.
Yeah.
But that's the path.
Well, I like that path. I'll take that. I'll take that path. And it's
Yeah,
hard
you're
because,
doing it.
well, thanks. Because, you put a lot of blood and sweat and a lot of time and, money into these things, and you hope that they pan out. And it does take time, and you just have to remind yourself. And it does help, with people like yourself, saying that out loud, that helps. Because there's times when you're just like, you question yourself, you're like, fuck, what am I doing? Because it's a lot, like doing all this stuff with, one person, just filming it and doing all that is one thing, editing, and then the social media and having to get it out there and like be present all the time. That takes time. I mean, it's
full-time job.
It's amazing what you can do. But it's fun and I love it. And it's the wave of the future. And, I'm going to keep talking about shenanigans on here. And,
well, I'm curious, by the way, about this. If you're interested in doing a slightly deeper dive into the trajectory and the growth of your YouTube channel, what are your goals and what is the path towards achieving those goals? What have you learned as you've gone on that path, and how have you kind of pivoted? So, if you don't mind, what are your goals? How do you get there, and what have you learned along the way?
I mean, I guess the number one goal is try to get monetized. Try to get some return on what I've been working on, and just to have fun telling stories. I mean, I've learned that you just can't do this for myself to please myself and my buddies, because then just myself and my buddies are going to watch this. So I have to think about an audience and what they're wanting to watch and what they're wanting to hear. And it seems like they do like some of the stories that we're telling. It started with the lure of Top Gear and how I was an assistant director on that for 5 seasons. And some of the craziest and most fun days of my life were part of that show, and days working on that show. So now we're pivoting to, other shows, other people in the industry. I'm also I am currently having, veterans or active duty military friends on to talk about shenanigans that they have, because everyone has crazy behind the scenes stories from every industry, everywhere. It's just how you tell them and how you, keep that going and not, I guess, die off, because it's got a
Well,
shelf.
that's the interesting thing about your model, if I may, is you have a big category, which is behind the scenes of your favorite unscripted reality shows through the eyes of the people who lived it. And there's still a huge market for unscripted reality shows. And so, what's intriguing to me, if I were advising you on the creative on your channel, is like, what are the biggest reality shows on earth right now with voracious audiences who are clamoring for more from behind the scenes? And can you start to draft off of the interest of Life Below Deck and Mr. Beast games? You know what I mean? By interviewing folks with great stories of the BTS behind the scenes of those stories, and be strategic about it, and also not that you're not being strategic about it right now, but what I mean by that is building audience is really about collabing. Um, so if you've got that person with 50,000 followers on Instagram, you can collab post to promote your YouTube channel episode with them, because they're talking about what it was like when that Real Housewives person slapped that other Real Housewives person or whatever,
Yeah.
which basically 17 times per season, every season. Now you've got an of the minute BTS that's adding value to a current story. So I'm just intrigued to see where you might be able to take that.
No, I like that. I like that. And I did a lot of research, and there are some. I didn't find anything like what I'm trying to do, other than contestants like from The Bachelor or Love Is Blind, all those dating or those kind of shows where they'll have podcasts where they talk about those specific shows, about being on camera. So it's not about the BTS and the shenanigans behind. It's more about what happened in that episode, So,
Dude, that's the thing. It's like a treasure trove of secret stories that you're
Mhm.
bringing out into the world. Keep doing what you're doing, man. I just think you're onto something really special here.
Thank you, Tim. That means a lot coming from you. I mean, I have so much respect for you. Always have. You've always been such a great dude, and very, very fun. A good soccer player as well, as I recall.
Oh,
You know,
long ago, bro. Long ago.
a
I was
long.
always in awe of you and your skills, my friend.
You know what? I have touch, and people, because I was a bigger dude, so people always thought that they thought I was a rugby player and not a soccer player, but I had some touch. So,
You
but
got some touch, man.
I get some touch, but thank you. That means a lot. So, anyways, I have a few more questions for you before I let you go. Just some crazy ones, because I know you like crazy questions. So let me ask: if you wake up one morning and realize you've been turned into an animatronic character at Chuck E. Cheese,
Yeah.
what's your stage name and what's your act?
I would be Nasty Penguin, would be my stage name. And I'd be adorable and terrifying somehow simultaneously. So you want to get close to me, but then you get a little too close, and I'm gonna with my flippers.
You're gonna flip
So
them. You're gonna
I'm gonna
flip
be
them.
get away, honor my space.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
That's
That's funny. All right. Okay. I like that. What about if your film crew followed you around for 24 hours? Okay. But it had to be shot as a horror movie. What would the scariest part of your daily routine be?
It would be going into Chuck E. Cheese's and encountering myself as Nasty Penguin and getting my own ass kicked by myself.
Oh my god. Oh, that's funny. I mean, Chuck E. Cheese. I mean, did you guys go when you were a kid?
We didn't really have that kind of money.
No, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
so if we went, it was usually because somebody else that had money brought us in for their birthday party.
That's so funny you say that. We had one. I'm from Washington, and so we had one in like the Seattle area in Federal Way, and it was the only
Mm,
one. And we had their local TV channel, so we always saw ads for it. But of course, we never got to go unless we went over there, and it sucked, man, being a kid. You know what? Let me tell you. Here's my little side story for you. You know how most families and kids they go to Disneyland for summer
yeah,
vacation, right? You know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
not the McGuires. No, no, no. We lived close to the Canadian border up there, you know, way up there. And so
Oh, way up there.
we would roll up to BC and, or is it Alberta? One of those. And we'd go to Bedrock City. Bedrock City is just, it's like, it was in Kelowna, BC. And it was just like this, I don't even know what to call it. Like it's an attraction with like, stone mobiles from the Flintstones that
Oh
didn't
my
move.
God.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. Anyways, that's my tangent. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
That's
But Chuck E. Cheese.
crazy, dude.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Chuck
yeah,
E. Cheese. It was the Chuck E. Cheese of Disneyland's at
yeah.
Bedrock
Oh,
City,
dude. I mean,
where it
things
was
didn't
just
move.
trash. And
There's
you're
no.
like, have they ever cleaned any of this shit? Like you're in the ball pit and you literally feel yourself as a 7-year-old contracting gonorrhea.
Oh my god, that's funny. Okay, okay, I got one. I think I got two more. Wait, I got one. Wizard. Okay, wizard appears and offers you the ability to time travel. Okay, but the but only to crash famous movie sets and cause chaos. Which set do you visit first, and what do you do?
Oh my
Chaos.
God, what a weird question. Um, let's say The Matrix, and the chaos that I would cause is, um, I think that I would go to the Wachowski brothers and say, "You're not going to be brothers for much longer," and give them permission to be who they really were back then in a world that didn't know how to receive them and they were scared to be who they were. And I would like to see more of that. I know that's
Uh,
crazy. You asked the crazy question, but like one of the saddest things that I see in this world is are people who can't be who they are. And I
yeah, it
love
does.
that the Wachowskis pioneered becoming who they are. Um, and I don't know. When you look back at The Matrix and you see how deep and rich that film was, especially for a meditation teacher, um, I would have loved to have seen an even deeper, richer exploration of personal identity and the illusory nature of self.
Hmm. Ooh, wow. All right. You heard it. You heard it here, you guys. Wow. You're amazing, though. I mean, I can't tell you what it means to have you on the show. I mean, you're such a great dude, so kind, you're just caring, and I love where you're going. It's so awesome. It's spiritual. It lifts other people up to see what you're doing, you know? So,
Thank you. I
I
appreciate you
think,
so much for saying all those beautiful things, and I feel the same way about you. I just feel like there's this quality of connection that we've always had, and it's such an honor to be on these shows with you today. Thank you.
well, thank you, Duffy. Is there anything else you got going on? I mean, what else? Any other startups you have?
No, but
Um,
look, this is the last job and business that I ever want to build. This is the one,
is it?
right? Using laughter as medicine. Go to laughterworks.com. Check it out for yourself. I'd love people's help to help me spread the word. We need more and more happiness and joy in this world, and I'm doing that through my corporate programs. So if you want to bring me in and my team in, and my partner Craig Shoemaker, one of the greatest comedians of all time, to help you transform your teams through the power of laughter, we will not disappoint. It's actually pretty extraordinary work that we're doing. So that's all I'd like to say about that.
God bless. I love that. And I love good energy too. I'm all about good laughter and some good energy. So, well, thanks for coming on, dude. Hey guys, I just want to remind everyone to like and subscribe. Go to my website, gofordonny.com if you want swag. Our YouTube channel, at GoForDonny. The playlist for Switch to Channel 2 is there. And we better get back to Channel 1 because they're always calling me, Tim. They're always calling me.
Calling you.
Yeah.
Go for Donny. Go for Duffy. Go for who? Huh? What?
Go for you. Thanks for coming on, Tim. I love you, man.
Love you too, brother.
All right. Later, buddy.
Production for Donny.
Go for Donny. Locations for Donny. Go for Donny.
Habitat for Donny.
Go for Donny.
Hey, Donny, what the hell are they doing?